Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Dychronic here on this Destiny 2 video, and today we're going to be going over all the things you need to do before the next season that you may miss out on that's going to be going away in the following season. And this is going to include all of the guns and armors that are being sunset, the other things that are going to be removed, the things that will not be removed until year 4, all the weapons that are still going to be great in the following season, and some other stuff coming in the new season that's going to be important to know as it applies to this season. And of course, as always, please let me know in the comments down below if there's something that I missed you think that was very major that I missed from my list. Obviously, there's a lot of things that I could be talking about in this video. I'm not going to talk about every single detail. I'm not talking about whether or not certain pools in Trials or Iron Banner could be rotating in or out, because we just don't know what Bungie's going to give us next season. But this is just going to be a list of all the stuff that is going away that you may want to do. And some things may surprise you. And of course, a lot of this information comes directly from Bungie. This is not hearsay or theorizing. This is from their twabs, from their tweets, from their websites directly. I'll leave a lot of those sources in the description down below. Alright, so moving on to the main section of the video, we'll be going over our 5 main topics. First and foremost, you have to understand the season ends on February 9th, 2021. So everything that is going away, you have to complete before that date. Obviously, some things may be brought back, considering we're getting Umbral Engrams back. We're going to be getting some of those things in perhaps a future season, not next season, but in a future season beyond that. In the first major section, let's talk about all the guns and armor being sunset. This is actually a lot simpler than a lot of people are making it out to be. Basically, it's everything from Season of Dawn and before. So anything with that little bird symbol in the corner is going to be sunset. Obviously, you can still use these items, but they cannot be infused above the 1260 level. This includes things like Breachlight, Old Fashioned, Perfect Paradox, Last Hope, Traveler's Judgment, Line in the Sand. Obviously, there is a big list of all the Dawn items, including all the Dawn armor, which again, I'll leave in the description down below. What's important to understand with these sunsets is going to be understanding what is going to be the replacement for a lot of these items. For example, Breachlight can be replaced with High Albedo. Traveler's Judgment and Last Hope can replace with Last Dance. But obviously there will be certain weapons that cannot really be replaced that well. Old Fashioned has very specific PvE perks that Dire Promise does not. Perfect Paradox, we don't actually have a rapid fire kinetic replacement for outside of the other shotgun archetypes. So going into the next season, it's going to be important to keep this in mind for those replacements if you want those. And with those weapons and armor, there's a bunch of other things that are also being removed, including Crow's bounties, the Wrathborn bounties, but Crow is not being removed himself. The messages from the field, the extra lore that you get from Zavala's Monitor and some other places, it's just lore and not anything else. The seasonal artifact and all of the season pass and pass items, although if it's the same as last few seasons, you can actually get all of those items. If you forgot to claim some, you can go to Bungie.net. There's a section where you can claim all the previous season items that you've gotten, as well as the Season 12 Conqueror and Flawless seals. Obviously, there's going to be new Conqueror and Flawless in the following season, and there's also going to be the new Gilded seals I'll talk about a little bit later. Crucible tokens are also being removed, which is pretty big. A lot of us have a lot of Crucible tokens. You want to spam out shacks, get all the possible rolls and all the weapons you could possibly want, like Dire Promise and First and Last Out, and all the other possible world drops you need. Spam out all those tokens because they're just going to be junk next season because they're changing the system and how Shaxx works. In future seasons, they'll also be retiring the other tokens, but just the Crucible for this one. And finally, we have the Warden Title, which is the current seasonal seal. And apparently there's something different with this particular seal. It's not just going to be the end of the season. Apparently this seasonal seal may be earned by the deadline on the Bungie rewards page. And if you go to that page, it actually says February 9th, which is the exact same as the end of the season. So either they figured this out or they're going to change it eventually, but it seems like it's still the end of the season. Up next, let's talk about the things that will not be removed until the end of year 4. Because at some point, Bungie realized there's a lot of people that have a fear of missing out, which is otherwise known as FOMO, where in a single season, people feel like they have to work really hard at the end of the season just to get everything done before the next season. Instead, they're doing more of an annual reset, so the things available for this season are going to be available for the whole year until the end of year 3 at the start of year 4. And these things include the story missions from the current season that will move to a node on the Director, the Wrathborn hunts, the Adored quests line, as well as Adored itself. Crow as a vendor is going to be sticking around, just his bounties are going to be changed or removed. The Hawkmoon quest is sticking around for the entire year, so if you want the random rolls or still get it, it will stick around to the end of the year. And finally, all of the Beyond Light and Europa Triumph mission activities, Raid and Planet, the very least will stick around to the end of the year. Most likely, the Beyond Light stuff will stick around for a much longer period of time. Moving on to the fourth major point, let's talk about the weapons that are going to continue to be great in the next season, which is a very common question that I get asked is what is going to continue to be viable next season with all the sunset, with the changes to the meta, the artifact, and all that whatnot. So I wanted to touch touch on a few things that are very important. First of all exotics have no sunset. This includes exotic armors and exotic weapons across the board. Unless there's a major nerf to archetypes or specific exotics, they're going to continue to be doing well if they're already doing well. Obviously, there are certain changes to the artifact mods which may skew certain things in certain directions, but for the most part, they're still going to be great. And from what I can tell, none of the mods that are very important to us are going to be going away either. As for the legendary weapons, in my opinion, we're not really losing that much. Like I mentioned before with the Dawn weapons, there are replacements for a lot of the weapons that are going to be sunset, and a lot of the weapons that are doing really well right now for both PvE and PvP will continue to be doing well in the next DLC. After that, there's going to be some weapons that I may have questions about. I would personally recommend taking a look at my top 10 spreadsheets I do for PvP, PvE of all the different slots, all the different varieties, where I also have a sunset column. Any of these sunset levels that are in yellow are going to be the ones that are not going to be usable next season. And the last thing I'll say about those weapons is that Warmind Cell weapons and builds are still going to be very usable and still good into the next season, as all of these 7 Seraph weapons are from Worthy, so they'll still be usable next season, but following that, we will only have the Ikelos weapons, which are up to arrivals, and we'll have those for a very long time. Hopefully they come out with new Warmind Cell weapons, maybe like an 8th Seraph set of weapons, very soon. Because Warmind Cells are really fun and very strong. In the very last section, I wanted to talk about some new stuff coming next season. Obviously, these are not things to do before next season, but it may assuage some issues or some concerns about what you need to do in preparation for next season. First and foremost, we are getting the return of Umbral Engrams with an upgrade to them without them being so numerous they're dropping like candy and filling up your resources in your inventory. Which means a lot of weapons that we want, which are part of the current world pool, will be a lot easier to get with the specific Umbral Engram drops, which will obviously be different than they were last time, so we'll have to wait and see. Secondly, we're getting gilded titles for people that want to go above and beyond, so you can get a better highlighted version of that specific title, like the Conqueror, the Dredgen, the Unbroken, and the Flawless title will actually say how many times you've completed it, and of course, in the current season, will make it very highlighted. So if you want to get something like that, you may want to focus on getting the Conqueror this season, for example. We're also getting reissued Moon and Dreaming City gear, with also weapons with new perks that are going to be reissued in the new season and give us replacement for the weapons that, again, we are losing this season. And on top of that, we're also getting 2 new ritual weapons for each of the 3 major activities, plus the Nightfall also gets 3 more unique weapons that will also have adept versions. Again, a lot of replacements for the stuff that we are going to be losing and for the stuff we already have. And that is going to be pretty much the end of the video. And again, obviously, please let me know in the comments down below if there's something major that you think I've missed that's going to be important for people to know that they may want to focus on before the end of the season. And obviously, I'm looking forward to the next season with some new contents and some expansion on Crow and a lot of Beyond Light stuff as well. Specifically, I wanted to say thank you to Medibuju, Mom, Dad, Shadow Moon, Joe Smith, Monday, Natalie Halpin, Steve Bachmanowicz, Justin Herrera, Raymond Showman, and Unipanther for their support on Patreon. And if you wanted to support stuff like this and spreadsheets, please check a link in the description down below and you can be added to this list so you can try to make this reading it really fast thing really, really hard. But anyways, that's going to be the end of it. My name is Dychronic and I will see you guys on the next one.